They consistently send well-trained women. They are sort of like the head girls of Miss Universe. It is amazing for me to see her on stage embodying the perfect Miss Universe energy. How do they always manage to produce the most incredible looking creatures you have ever seen to grace the stage of Miss Universe? Like, do they farm them? I think there is no denying that this year the women who are in the running for Miss Universe 2025 are some of the strongest candidates that we've had at Miss Universe in years. And I think if Denmark's win last year was any indication, we should not only expect countries who have done well historically at Miss Universe, but basically anyone can get in and even win. And this year there are just so many women, not only women from countries who have historically done well in pageantry and are continuing to do well in pageantry, but also women from countries who some people may have never even heard of. We love when there is truly a diverse group of strong contestants competing at Miss Universe from all over the world. And so for that reason, it was no surprise to me when I actually sat down and wrote down my entire list of favorites, and it came out at more than 30, which is insane. I don't even know how we're just going to get to 30 women to make the finals at Miss Universe this year. But before prelims, I really wanted to get down to brass tacks, sit down and just write down my core favorite women who I am personally obsessed with for Miss Universe this year. Because of what I do get to look at a wide variety of candidates. In fact, I look at all of them, and then I do have my sentimental favorites, which are highly influenced by my personal experience as a human being. But then there are also the women who have become my favorites and who I have become obsessed with because of their merits and how they have been performing and their skills and how they have obviously been trained. So in this video, it is going to be a little bit of a mix of both, but I am going to start out with the usual suspects. These are the countries that have historically done well at Miss Universe. They consistently send well-trained, well-groomed, well-informed women who are extremely skilled at performing well at Miss Universe. These countries are extremely consistent, and I am obsessed with them because they continuously send extremely well-prepared women, and this year is no different. Starting with the Philippines, who have elected to send Atisa Manalo to this year's Miss Universe competition. We know that the Philippines, they are sort of like the head girls of Miss Universe. They are a much anticipated country at Miss Universe every single year. I think it wouldn't be inaccurate to say that the Philippines also has one of the largest, if not the largest, fan bases for pageantry in the world. So this is an extremely popular pageant country, and for that reason they have the resources to train and prepare their girls for Miss Universe year after year, and they have continuously done so. This year is no different. Not only is Atisa very well trained, gorgeous and popular in her own right, she also has the added benefit of having pageant experience. She was the first runner-up at Miss International 2018, so she also has that going for her, and she is the first woman on this list who I am obsessed with seeing the outcome of her Miss Universe journey. Number 2, we can't talk about head girls of Miss Universe this year without talking about Thailand's candidate Pravina Singh. This woman has been making such a buzz in the pageant world for almost a decade. She actually went and won Miss Universe Thailand on her 4th try, which just speaks to her capacity to be consistent and also not to let perceived failure stop her from chasing her dream. I don't think it would be inaccurate to say that Pravina Singh is a very popular candidate at Miss Universe this year. Not to mention Miss Universe is being held in Thailand, and it would be such a poetic moment were she to win Miss Universe while it's being held in Thailand. But personally, I just like her a lot. I think that she comes across as very friendly, very likable, which is always something that I appreciate in candidates in pageantry. Another woman whose journey I am obsessed with this year is India's Madhika Vishwakarma, who has been so impressive thus far. I have been impressed with her since the moment that she landed in Thailand this year. I wouldn't necessarily say that India is a big pageant country where most of the population are aware or somehow interested in pageantry. I would just say that I think that India does have strong support, not necessarily because the entire country of India is interested in pageantry, but because it is such a densely populated country, and for that reason the amount of people who end up supporting India just ends up being a large amount of people. But those people are not wrong, because this year India's contestant is amazing, as with most years. India is a pretty consistent country when it comes to sending high quality candidates, and this year is no different. Stepping out of Asia now, another country who has been extremely consistent when it comes to Miss Universe, and I would say pageantry as a whole. They have extremely high quality pageant candidates who they send year after year, has to be Colombia. Colombia's candidate this year, Vanessa Pulgaran, is just so well trained and ready for Miss Universe. All of her stage performances have been incredible in my opinion. I just think that Colombia this year is one to watch, even though there are so many candidates this year from countries who are not like sash factor countries, meaning that they are not popular pageant countries, that a lot of people have been ignoring Colombia, and I don't think that that's fair, because Colombia's contestant this year, in my opinion, is amazing. Lastly on my list of usual suspects, I have Venezuela. This woman has not been going ignored. In fact, she has caused quite a stir, and the Miss Universe supporters online everywhere I've looked seem to adore her. Stephanie Abazali is definitely a big fan favorite, and it has been a while since Venezuela has won Miss Universe, so maybe that is in the cards again for Venezuela this year at Miss Universe, because a lot of people seem to think that this woman has all of the ingredients of a future Miss Universe. Now, I don't want to get too deep into the video without talking about my sentimental favorites. Now, these two girls that I'm going to be talking about now, they are the girls who are representing my home countries, okay? Listen, this is not a prediction. This video is who I am obsessed with. And if you didn't want to know who I'm obsessed with, then you shouldn't have clicked, because I'm going to mention my home countries, because obviously I'm going to be obsessed with them. This is human nature, okay? Starting with Namibia's Johanna Swartboy. Now, you guys know I grew up in South Africa for 14 years when I moved to Namibia and was adopted by Namibians. So, like, half my life has been spent in Namibia. The pageant community is like this small, okay? So, everybody knows everybody, and at the end of the day, I just end up knowing a lot of things about the pageant contestants in Namibia, almost by accident, because the industry is literally this small. And so I just cannot help but stand behind Johanna Swartboy at Miss Universe this year, because I feel like I know what she's about and what she's capable of. She has actually truly impressed me when it comes to the stage performances. I mean, the stairs at Miss Universe this year, the amount of stairs is crazy. It's like low-key a health hazard, but Johanna has been managing them beautifully. And not to mention, I also know what her capabilities are in terms of speech and rhetoric. She is an amazing speaker. So I'm not saying she's going to get into the top 30 or that she's going to win or whatever. I'm just saying that I am rooting for my home country at Miss Universe this year, and nothing would make me happier than to see her get into the top 30. I'm so sorry, but this is just the condition of being a human. I cannot sit here and be like, no, I don't think that she deserves, because actually I do think that she deserves. You know, from everything that I know about her, and it might be a slightly biased opinion, I will admit that. So just take this with a grain of salt, if you will. I'm not trying to spread the pageant gospel. But I do think that if Namibia were to get into the top 30, that it would be deserved. Okay, moving on, I have South Africa, which of course is my birth country. We know a lot about Melissa Nyamuli just because she has been in the Miss South Africa top 5 twice. And so we do know a lot of information about her. She was in the top 5 like in 2020. This was right after Zosie had won Miss Universe. And so everybody was super interested in Miss South Africa, and Melissa was super popular even back then. Now, of course, she's representing South Africa underneath another organization who has taken over the Miss Universe license. But still, I think that she is also an amazing candidate from Africa this year, even though there are so many amazing African candidates at Miss Universe this year. Melissa definitely has to be one of my favorites just because it's sentimental, you know what I mean? I feel like I know this person. Not me having like a whole one-sided relationship with random pageant girls. But just like Johanna from Namibia, I would be very, very pleased if my birth country were to get into the top 30. So I am obsessed with them. And this video is not completely unbiased top 30 prediction. It is literally titled Girls That I'm Obsessed With for Miss Universe 2025. So there you go. But let's get into a couple of girls who are perhaps not so biased, who I think I will definitely have to include when I do make my top 30 prediction. First of all is Cote d'Ivoire, who is being represented by Olivia Yassé. This woman has proven her worth. In fact, she has done so long ago when she competed at Miss World in 2021 and got second runner-up. And even back then, it was disputed. Even back then, people were saying she should have been first runner-up or even the winner because she was just that amazing at Miss World. Now, Miss Universe is a whole different ball game. It's not necessarily to say if you did well at Miss World, you will do well at Miss Universe. But I think what's interesting about Olivia Yassé in 2021 at Miss World is not necessarily the placement that she ended up getting, but the opinions that people had of her throughout the competition, which solidified her merits in my mind. Olivia Yassé is an extremely bright, intelligent woman. She knows what she's doing, and I have absolutely no doubt that she will charm the socks off the judges or the selection committee, whatever we're calling the people who make the decisions these days. And so I am obsessed with Olivia Yassé. I have been since she was at Miss World, and I'm so glad to see her on the international stage again. But speaking of Miss World girlies, Guadeloupe this year, Ophelia Mazzino was also a Miss World alum once upon a time. She was actually the first runner-up at Miss World in 2019, but she wasn't representing Guadeloupe, she was representing France. But this year she's not representing France, she's representing Guadeloupe at Miss Universe. I also think that her performance at Miss World 2019 just was out of this world, and how she's been conducting herself at Miss Universe has been perfect. Because you know, Miss World and Miss Universe, they sort of have different rhythms and vibes about them, and women are expected to act a little bit differently at each than they are the other. But Guadeloupe's contestant at Miss Universe this year has evolved so seamlessly into the perfect Miss Universe candidate. It is amazing for me to see her on stage just embodying the perfect Miss Universe energy. I am so excited to see how her Miss Universe journey is going to end. I am obsessed. The next woman on my list is a big fan favorite, a woman who all of the Miss Universe supporters this year low-key or high-key love, and it is Chile's Ina Mo. Oh my goodness. First of all, remarkably stunning. She also just has a unique face. Like, she's not necessarily cookie cutter. A lot of people are saying because she's blonde, well, she'll just be copy and paste of Victoria. Forgot the reigning Miss Universe name. What's wrong with me? And no, I don't agree, because I feel like she has a unique face about her. She has unique features, but she is remarkably stunning nonetheless. Whenever she's on screen or you see a picture of her, you just cannot look away. She is just so beautiful, and she seems very sweet and likable as well. For me, there's nothing not to like about Chile. I'm just so excited to see where her journey is going to end. Another country who I think we don't usually see at Miss Universe in the top 30 or 20 or 12 or 10 or whatever is Portugal. Portugal's contestant at Miss Universe this year is remarkably impressive. Her stage performance skills give me reason to believe that she had someone who is very, very skilled and experienced in stage performance training her, because she has been extraordinary when it comes to on-stage performances. Whenever she's performing, you think in your mind, who is this? Is this Venezuela? Is this Philippines? But then it goes to the sash and it's Portugal, and I'm shocked because I've never seen Portugal like this at Miss Universe. So they have a really, really good contestant on their hands this year, and this woman would definitely deserve to get into the top 30. But yet again, we still have to wait and see how things go at the prelims and things like that. But from what I've seen so far, top 30 candidate for sure. Another one of the candidates who I think is a standout this year is Puerto Rico's Zashili Alessia. Once again, just a drop dead gorgeous woman. I've said this before, I think it was during the video all about the girls doing their introductions at the opening ceremony, but how does Puerto Rico, being such a small country, right, they have so few people, how do they always manage to produce the most incredible looking creatures you have ever seen to grace the stage of Miss Universe? I just do not understand where these women are coming from. Like, do they farm them? How is this happening that they always have the most perfect, like technically, physically perfect women representing them? I do not understand. Not to mention, this woman in particular, as is the case with a lot of Puerto Rican women, is extremely skilled on stage. She has all of the technique required to be a good stage performer, or to be considered a good stage performer. As a matter of fact, I think that I have actually put Puerto Rico in the wrong category in this video, because not only is she a standout, but I think that Puerto Rico as a whole, especially when it comes to Miss Universe, should be considered a sash factor or powerhouse country, because they have year after year after year after year sent remarkable women who do extremely well at Miss Universe. So she should actually be included with those first 5 who I've mentioned in this video. Another woman who I consider to be a standout, but I don't know if it's just me, I haven't really seen a lot of people talking about her, but Nicaragua's contestant this year, Itza Castillo. I mean, how charismatic is she? She has been so charismatic in everything that I've seen her in, and she seems to be relatively skilled as well. So I'm also very impressed with Nicaragua. Nicaragua is not necessarily a country who is known for being exceptional at Miss Universe consistently. They did win 2 years ago, but a lot of people thought that, you know, that win was just a once-off thing. But this year, their contestant at Miss Universe is really good as well, in my opinion. So I'm definitely keeping an eye out for Nicaragua to see what's going to be happening with her. Lastly, the 3 women who I consider to be dark horses. So women who are not necessarily part of the powerhouse country group. You know, their countries have not been doing consistently well at Miss Universe over the years, but also they don't really seem to be on the radar of the pageant supporters and viewers this year either, which is sad, because I think that these last 3 women that I'm going to mention might surprise us at Miss Universe this year. Starting with Croatia's Laura Gnjatovic. I probably butchered that surname. Listen, I grew up in South Africa. Sometimes I still pronounce this word as imbecile, so cut me some slack. I think that Croatia's candidate at Miss Universe this year is pretty and graceful. She definitely has the looks to capture the attention of the judges, and I think that she might be able to surprise us at Miss Universe this year. Second, Estonia, Brigitta Shabak. Now, a lot of people might be thinking, oh, copy and paste of the current winner, but listen, we need to cut the blondies some slack. They can't help that they all look alike to us. For me, Estonia's candidate at Miss Universe this year has just been demonstrating such skill when it comes to her on-stage performances. Actually, all of her appearances, I just think that she has shown extreme grace and poise, and she just, to me, has all of the ingredients of a potential Miss Universe. So I think we need to look out for her. Lastly, I don't know whether or not she's a dark horse for me or if she's a sentimental fave, but I have Australia's Lexie Brant. First of all, this girl's body, wow, I'm obsessed. That alone qualifies her for this video because I'm just obsessed with how she looks. But also, I've just been impressed with her throughout, I feel like. She just seems extremely sweet and authentic and sincere, which is usually the case with Australian contestants, which is usually why I love Australia, because their contestants just always have their own flair. You know, it feels like with Australia, as a country, as a people, what you see is what you get. And that's what I love about Australia at Miss Universe this year. She just seems so sincere, yet sweet and likable and charismatic. And so, honestly, sentimentally, I'm hoping to see Australia in the top 30 at Miss Universe this year. Who will be getting into the top 30? It remains to be seen, babes, because we still have to get through prelims and everything. After prelims, you mostly know for sure who you want to see in the top 30, but for right now, these are the girls who are just, you know, they're in here. They're not necessarily in here, but they're stuck in my heart, you know what I mean? Anyway, let me know the girls that you are obsessed with for Miss Universe this year. There are so many to choose from. Like, how are they even going to get to 30? I don't know, because the women at Miss Universe this year are just on another level. Let me know what you guys think about all of this. I would love to know. Thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!